Hey friends and subscribers, thanks for stopping by our channel. Today we're going to be creating this adorable rain boot door hanger. It's super easy, super fun, and you can do it. Okay, so to start with this project, what we're going to be using is a pair of small rain boots. Now these are definitely very, very small, and I'll show you compared to a toddler size, which I absolutely love these. They say fire department. I'm thinking about giving them to somebody that works in the fire department. But anyways, for this project, I'm wanting a smaller boot. And then I cut a piece of ribbon that's going to be the hanger. I actually cut it 28 inches long. Okay, so the first piece of ribbon is 28 inches. And again, this is all personal preference. I chose 28 inches because that's how I wanted it hanging on the door, like this. But you can choose however long you want it to be. And then what I did is I cut a slit in the boot with a utility knife. And I threaded the ribbon down and through and back up, and then I glued it, hot glued it to the inside of the boot. So it's actually threaded through, so it's hanging off of the boot itself. This helps to provide for a little bit more stability. Okay, I've done that on both sides. You want to have your boot going in the same direction, both boots going in the same direction, so you want to make sure that you have your ribbon the right way. And then the next step, you want to take your dry Oasis foam and you want to stuff each boot. And if you notice, I have this a little bit gradual. I have it just a little bit narrower going towards the bottom than towards the top. Just easier. And then you want to fill that in there. Now, you could, if you wanted to, you could leave the boot plain and you could just do something that they call a drop-in. And that's simply where you just make the bouquet and then you drop it right in the shoe, and that way you can pull it out. But I want my boots to be full, to look full hanging. Sometimes when you do a drop-in, they don't hold their shape as well. So I wanted to make sure that when they're hanging, they're going to hold their shape and be nice and full. So we've gone ahead, I've glued the ribbon to both boots, and I've put dry foam in each one, and now I'm going to put a little Spanish moss. Two different ways that you could do this. You could use greenery pins, put in your Spanish moss, and then use some greenery pins that I've shown you before to secure it. Or you could put some hot glue on here, carefully put down the Spanish moss, and then, like I'm always saying, use a stick, the end of a floral stem or whatever, to apply and press the Spanish moss onto the foam so you don't burn your fingers. Now we're ready to get started with the next step, adding the flowers. Okay, so we're back and our boots, the ribbons all dried. We're ready to go to next steps. Now for me, that would be the bow. And what I'm choosing to do, you know how I talk about in my other videos how I make a bow and then I use a zip tie and I thread another zip tie through. Same scenario here. And I am going to choose to tie the bow up here around the loop. I'm going to go up almost as high as I can, giving it enough of the loop to fit on someone's, hook, but not so much that it's sagging. And again, this is all personal preference. You could put the bow wherever you want. That's completely up to you, and I'm going to cut these afterwards. I'm going to get rid of the zip tie. And I'm going to get my scissors. I'm going to cut these right now and just roll them up to get them out of our way. I'm not sure how long I want them. And again, like I mentioned in my last video, you can always tell good quality ribbon by the way that it rolls up and if it holds its shape. So a lot of stores that I go to, they have that plastic wrapping, and I've spent good money on ribbon, and then I've got home and I've tried to use it and have been disappointed in its quality. So don't be afraid to, sometimes I just move the plastic off the ribbon a little bit, and I try to get a good idea, the feel for it. And then once you get a company that you know that you like, I say stick with that. This ribbon I did get from a wholesale company, and it's okay. It's not my favorite, and that's why I'm actually choosing to use it as the hanger itself, because it doesn't hold its shape as much as I wish that it did. And the hanger, is just pretty much straight down at this point. But for right now, I'm just going to tuck it up into itself, and we're going to hope that it stays there. And I am, just to kind of help you guys envision what this is going to look like, I'm going to dovetail this up here. And I'm going to dovetail this one. And just kind of tuck this down out of the way for right now. And we can go back and we can shorten those if we decide that they're too long. And remember, dovetailing, you're just folding the ribbon in half and then cutting from the outside in. And that's how you get your nice finished edge. So now that we've got our ribbon attached, I can get this out of the way. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start filling in our boots. What I've decided I want is some real pretty ivy. This is Real Touch Ivy. I'm going to put this in, and then I've got a fine, it's almost like a real light vine, cascading vine that I want to mix in with the greens. So again, I'm going to remind you that you want to try to pick up several different shades of green when you're putting together an arrangement like this. Just don't have it flat one color of green. It's going to add more interest and really pop off your door if you add a variety of tones of green. So I'm going to start with this one. And don't worry if it doesn't lay flat right now, because once we start to add some other flowers, you're going to notice a big difference, okay? Because the weight of the flowers will bring it down. Now, you don't have to glue it in because you're going into the Oasis foam. You just want to make sure that you really get it in there well. And if you have the glue, why not use it? I'm going to do a couple more. One thing that you want to try to keep in mind is if you're working on something that's a little bit smaller, like these boots, we don't want to choose a huge leaf that's going to take away. We want to try to keep all the florals that we choose of a smaller size. It's more proportionate that way. Okay, a lot of times I've spoken about odd numbers. Now you notice we have 3 pieces of this ivy. I probably am going to end up putting another piece here, and then maybe I'll add a 5th piece. But we want to always try to work on numbers that are uneven. Again, I'm looking for something that's rather small in size. And what I love, and I've mentioned to you a few times, you always want to try to get, if you can, greens that are positionable, which means you can slide this whole stem. All of these leaves you can position up and down. That makes such a difference in your piece. I'm going to end up putting this one right in here. Okay, and now I'm going to go on to this lighter, more cascading of a green. And then what I'm going to do is actually push it down underneath this other ivy piece to mix it in. It just gives it a more natural look. And we will fill it with some more greens afterwards as well. While I'm recording this, we are in the middle of a quarantine, which I don't know when you'll be watching it, but if you are, I hope that you're safe. I hope your family's doing well. And you know, my whole thought in recording these videos is just to kind of get our mind off of this time and just enjoy watching something creative, make something creative, spur one another on to give stuff like this a try. Now I'm going to start to incorporate some of the flowers. And I've got some of the smaller daisies and some larger ones. So for right now, and if you notice, I'm leaving the green leaf on, I'm going to put this one, and I'm pushing it way in, down in there. And again, this is all positionable, which I love. So we can just bend these wherever we want. And I'm going to put another one just like this. I had one cut. I think I'm going to put another one over here. Now what I typically do is I will hold it up to get an idea of how long I want my stem. And this, of course, can cascade down, and I think that's what I want on this one. And at this point, it's pretty much just personal taste, what you like, where you want to place the stems. And again, if you don't put glue, at this point, you just push them into the floral foam, you can pull them out and reposition them. Also, depending on the type of door that you have, if you don't have all the distance, you might want to do something a little bit flatter. So you want to keep that in mind, the way that you're placing your flowers. I think one more, and then we're going to switch to another color. I want to put this one on the back up at the top. Up in here, I think. Oh, it's so cute already. Just the different color greens. Oh, I love it. Okay, so now, again, this is the stem that I got from the Dollar Tree. And they do have some beautiful florals that you could use. I've pushed all the greens up to the top, and I am going to figure out, I'm going to kind of hold it and gauge how long I want my stem to be. So what, that looks like maybe 2 or 3 inches, and I'm going to just snip it. And I'm going to stick it right in the green. Oh, look at how that just brings that to life. So sweet. Love it. We're going to just repeat the same process. Now for me, some stems I'll make a little bit shorter, some stems I'll make a little bit longer, and the reason for that is just so I have variety in the length and they're not all the same. pushing the stem all the way up to the top and then just snipping it. Going to make sure you don't want to forget the back, especially if you have a darker colored door. Those colors are just going to pop against your door. Now, if you don't have an easel to do this project on, you could simply put the boots on your counter and fill them and then put the ribbon on if that's easier for you. Notice I'm not pushing it flat right in. It has depth, which is going to add interest. And then our last piece is going to go way in the back here. And it's going to fill that boot right out. Oh, how adorable is that? Now we want to take some of our filler, and I'm actually choosing this one I got at the Dollar Tree, and it's darker green, so another shade of green. And I'm going to put some of this in. And again, I'm kind of weaving it in through all the florals so that it looks more natural rather than just straight up and down in the piece. I've pushed it all the way to the top, and I'm just cutting this one a little bit shorter. I did have several of these in my Etsy shop last year, and it did really well. People really seem to like them. I'm going to just put a couple up there, and then I'm going to move to our pussy willows. This project, I mean, kids, this would be a great project to do with your kids. Let them choose the flowers. Dollar Tree's got some really cute bright ribbon. Who doesn't need a bright springy piece hanging on their door? Maybe you know a doctor or a nurse right now that you know where they live. Maybe they're your neighbor. You could just go over and hang it on their front doorknob. What a cool gift to give somebody. A little note. We got to spread more of that. Okay, last thing I'm going to add, pussy willows. I'm actually going to put picks on these to make them a little bit easier to put in. Now you could take your finger and just carefully, if you wanted to twist them, you could give them a little bit more character, twisting them up like that. It's entirely up to you. Big one. I think I'm going to stick this one in the center and then just intersperse it. And I know I did see some pussy willows at the Dollar Tree. They had those as well. Those I think though are straight up and down. I don't think they have the flexibility that these have. I've got one more here. Try in this direction right here. There we go. Oh, how adorable is that? Okay. So I'm going to stop here, clean up my florals, and then we will work on finishing it up with some ribbon. Okay, so we've got all the florals placed, we've got our boots all done. Now it's time to just do some finishing touches with the ribbon. Remember, I curled up the ribbon at the beginning, and my whole thought was just to have some ringlets come down like so, and then the other one over here on this side. Now you don't have to do this, that's all just personal preference. You could go ahead if you wanted to, and you could add a few more ringlets down here. We could try something here in the back. Just roll this up, and if you don't have a pick machine and you can't pick your two pieces of ribbon together, you could do the pipe cleaners like I've shown you in other videos, where you just twist it together and then put some hot glue and stick it into the foam. And again, this is one of those times where you'd want to use a floral end so that you don't get burned. I want to roll this one up. And bring this one out. Like so. That's adorable. You could also do another bow here if you wanted to. You could make a smaller bow to put in there. I'll just show you real quickly what I'm talking about. I would do something like this, and sorry. I'd get a wood pick. Just wrap the wire around your bow. You could do the same. You could use one of these for the other ribbon tendrils as well. And I would stick this right in here. Oh, how cute is this? Put this at a dovetail this end. And then what I would probably choose to do is put one more piece of greenery. I don't know if I have anything already cut in here. One more to cascade down, so you don't just look at it and see the bow. It's going to look like the bow is actually part of the piece, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. There we go. So, super easy, quick rain boot door hanger. Thanks so much for watching today. Please stay well. Take care. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button along with the bell so you don't miss our next fun project. Really, our goal and our utmost hope is that you'll give some of these projects a try so that we can get creative together.